And so now we get to look at real estate agents and go, hey, buddy, you're the centrifugal force of every deal. In most cases, you're directing who the lender is. You're directing who the title is. You're recommending insurance agents. You're recommending all these different people. And of course, the client could go wherever they want, but you're going to recommend your people. So why not put yourself in a position to earn more on every transaction by getting more involved in those pieces? I'm not asking anybody to switch industries. I'm asking you to do what you do best, sell real estate, but own parts of what you refer business to, because this real estate thing with the battle of the commission and the slow market and some people paying 2%, some people paying 1%. I've heard some horror stories out there.
We know all real estate agents want to acquire clients consistently so that they can grow their business and income for that great lifestyle. This broadcast brings you the best and top people in the industry to support that quest. This is Dave Fanale, and I'm here to bring you the Real Estate Skill Builder broadcast, Real Estate Talk-TGIF, brought to you by Real Estate Skill Builder and Align, your premier real estate solution. And we're back. Hey, everybody, this is Dave Fanale, Real Estate Talk-TGIF, episode 428, 422 weeks in a row. Today, we have a gentleman that was on a couple of years ago. It was episode number 63, September 6th, 2019. It's a long time ago, but here we are again. And I apologize for the time it's taken to get you back on. But for more than 2 decades, David Adam Kurz built what most people spend a lifetime chasing: a successful real estate business, multiple companies, books, stages, a reputation as one of the sharpest business minds in our industry. And then he did something almost nobody does. He walked away from the version of himself that made him successful. Today's David isn't chasing bigger business or another coaching empire. He's chasing something far more meaningful: truth, purpose, discipline, faith, and becoming the man he believes he was created to be. His mission has shifted from building businesses to building people, from success to significance. He's a Marine, an entrepreneur, an author, a husband, a father, and a man who's had the courage to reinvent himself when most people would have simply stayed comfortable. If you've ever wondered what happens when someone chooses purpose over popularity, you're going to want to really, really pay attention. Please welcome David Adam Kurz. Good morning, man.
Good morning, man. Thanks for having me on again. I really appreciate it. Super honored to be here with you.
Well, you're welcome, man. I mean, this is all about, the lives of people. I think more lives than real estate, even though we talk more real estate than anything else, of course. But before we get started, I got to ask you the one question I ask everybody that's been on this broadcast, and I'm sure I asked it to you, almost 7 years ago. And that is, what does TGIF stand for?
Thank God it's Friday.
I'll give you a hint. Okay, I'll give you a hint. It's not what you think it is, and it's staring you right in the face.
I don't know.
Thank God it's Fanale.
Oh, look at you. I would have remembered that if you asked me 7 years ago.
All right, man, here it is.
Hey, before we start, I want to give a shout out to my daughter, Amber, who maybe he's watching, maybe he's not. She just got out of surgery successfully. She's doing well. So I want to give her love. Love you, baby. I wanted to say that out loud real quick.
God bless you. Yeah. Full Godspeed and getting healthy. Thank you for that. All right, man. Marine, entrepreneur, author, husband. A lot of things you do. You've had a coaching company. You've coached a lot of agents. You've grown businesses. You had your own real estate company. You've joined LPT, and you've transformed yourself. And honestly, you talk about different things that have happened in your life. Tell me about your journey from one point to the other. And I don't care where it could be from the very beginning, but it also could be from the last few years. The market's changed. We know that since 2019 or 18, right? We know that's changed. So how has David Kurz changed, and why?
I saw a need. When I left the Marine Corps, I got into this business, and almost 22 years ago, 21 and a half years ago, I got in the business of real estate. And there was no one there. This stuff didn't exist, right, Dave? Like
Right.
there
Right.
was no show to watch. There was no motivation to be had. There was like you had to pay to go see somebody talk to get some motivation, or you had to pay somebody to be your coach. And there were very few, if any, real good real estate coaches back then. And your broker most of the time was in competition with you, so they didn't really want to
Yeah.
help you either. They just wanted you to have your life there, and that was it, right? So we had to learn this thing, running through brick wall after brick wall after brick wall, and now we don't live in that world anymore. And so as experienced real estate agents, experienced business people, and experienced entrepreneurs, experienced speakers like yourself and podcasters, and I feel like we have a responsibility to raise a better future. And yeah, man. And so as we progress, like, I was always chasing, if I take any personality test whatsoever, it tells you that my value is monetary, that's what I care about. Like, let's go build something so it could yield something. Let's go do something so it could yield something. And what I did was I took that energy and that love, because I love money, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you, right? Not because it could buy me beautiful things, but because it's fun. I find it exciting. Like when you do something and the result is something gets deposited in your bank account, it's like, woohoo, you know what I mean? Like it feels good.
Yeah.
It's like collecting coins on Super Mario Brothers, right? And so I'm like, so I said, how do we redirect this? And how do I make other people feel that way? Because there's nothing wrong with that. I know some people are like, oh, that's horrible. No, it's not. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's
I'm
not.
having fun. Yeah, I'm having fun doing it. And so 2018, COVID happens. We get this big boom, 2020, right? Market shifts, then it shifts again, then it shifts again. And now we're in this position where it's slow. We don't know when we're going to have our boomsday, like Robert Palmer says, right? And I don't know when this is going to happen. When's the boom coming, right? And the boom could be as simple as just another 1 million homes being sold a year, right? Like we're not asking to go back to COVID times where it was like crazy lines around the block. We're just saying like, let's normalize it a little better. Let's take it a little more. And I have a feeling it's going to happen sooner than we think. And obviously there's a lot of world events that are happening, et cetera. But for the real estate agents that are still in the game, that are still here, I read something yesterday that said, if your realtor is still a full-time real estate agent, they weren't in it for the money. They actually love helping people. Because nowadays this market is so hard. Why would you choose this? Right? Like why would you put yourself through this pain? And so I made a decision. Like I saw myself building businesses. I saw myself having the coaching company. I saw myself still running my team. I saw myself trying to open a mortgage branch or developing business through mortgage. I saw myself opening title companies. And I was like, why doesn't everybody have a hand in this? Like, why aren't people doing this? And so I diverted and I sat with my mortgage guys and I said, hey, listen, Marcos, like, what can we do for real estate agents? He goes, Dave, it's crazy you're asking me this question. We launched this program a year ago and we're pushing it. And then I sat with my title partner and I said, what do we do? And he came up with an idea, or we came up with an idea together, and we opened up some offices, but there's another idea coming soon. And so we've done this kind of stuff over and over and over again. And it's created an opportunity for now us to go help other people make more money in a time where the opportunities are more scarce. And so now we get to look at real estate agents and go, hey, buddy, you're the centrifugal force of every deal. In most cases, you're directing who the lender is. You're directing who the title is. You're recommending insurance agents. You're recommending all these different people. And of course, the client could go wherever they want, but you're going to recommend your people. So why not put yourself in a position to earn more on every transaction by getting more involved in those pieces? And so that's been my passion, and it's incredible. The people that I'm working, I had great lunch yesterday with a team leader here in North Miami. She's not North Miami. She's in Broward County in the Fort Lauderdale area. Amazing lady, great team. And I said to her, I go, what are you doing with mortgage? What are you doing with that? And I made her all the introductions. And now she's about to get a raise, and she's going to distribute some of that raise to her team members so they stay motivated. Right. And so now she's going to make more money on mortgages, but she's going to take a piece of that and give it to the agent. And it's all going to work out in a way where the agents are like, dude, where else am I going to get this? Right. And I'm putting her in a position to live a better life in a tough time.
We're looking at, this is kind of things that we're talking about, in order to look, let's look at real estate brokers to begin with, right? So I've always, as a broker owner for 21 years, people said, well, you sold your business, you're not doing anymore. Why did you sell your business? And of course, I would give them the overall joke of, why do you think they call us brokers, right? Yeah. So the problem there, I think, was, I think my problem was twofold. Number one, I wanted to do so much, and I didn't have the right receptors, which I had the wrong people in the right seats, right? And great people, nothing wrong with them. It's just that we weren't in tune with technology. We weren't in tune with where we're going to take this. Where it was beginning of the ISA thing, and nobody wanted to do that. Nobody thought it was safe. You're going to steal my customer. Why do I want to do that? Even though from day one of internet leads, David, I know you know this, the leads sucked. All the leads always sucked, right? Being as fortunate as I am to be involved with Real Estate Skill Builder and Align Real Estate Solutions, leads do suck, but they really don't suck when you know how to follow up with them and do the work. And also the support of a team, right? So taking that to the next step, David, what seems what you've done is, okay, well, I'm going to partner with this vendor. I'm going to partner with this vendor. I'm going to partner to a lot of things here so that I can share that with my people to make them more money, because that's what brokers were supposed to, or were asked to do, or should do, to have more other avenues of income. So you've done the same thing with your agents?
Yeah. So we've gotten out of the idea of just a broker, and we graduated to looking at a team leader. And then now we're graduating to looking to the solopreneur, right? There's plenty of agents out there that do great business that don't have big teams, don't care to have them, and no one talks to them about that kind of stuff, And so I want to change that.
And okay, so if you don't mind, tell me a little bit of how it works. You don't have to, go in detail, but you bring in, okay, so you have a solo agent that does not want to be on a team. Okay. Great. But and look, everybody would love to have the help of that transaction coordinator, what, I don't know what CRM to use, but I know I need one. Okay, you'll give me follow-up, boss, or you'll help me with that. Great, let's do that. So the systems and processes is where what people need to actually, let's use the word scale. Scaling for someone could be 10 to 15, 10 to 20, or 20 to 60. I've seen that in my organization many times in the past, just 2 years, right? 20 to 50, 20 to 40, 20 to 60. But we're talking about money here. So the solopreneur doesn't want to be a member of the team, but they want support and they want money. How do they do that?
So I'm going to give you my first opinion, and then I'll go into answering your question. My first opinion is, great. If you're a solo agent and you're new in the industry, join a team, dude. Join a team. Take a pay cut for a little while and be the mentee, be the junior, that's okay. You don't have to get your license and immediately put luxury real estate agent on your Instagram and buy a Mercedes. You can be the junior for a little while and learn from the team leader. And that's where you're going to learn systems and tools and operations and things of that nature. Pay attention, learn the business. And then all team leaders know it. It's not if you leave, it's when you leave. So when you leave better prepared to go do what you're going to do, right? That's number one. To go back to your question, I think that solopreneurs need to focus on their real estate business first. So although I bring all these great opportunities to a lot of real estate agents, what I'm telling real estate agents is you got to have a minimum to be a part of this. And so for title, it's different because title requires volume in order to be profitable, right? But on the mortgage side, you could just do it per deal. However, there are stipulations where they want to work with people that are closing 1 to 2 buyers a month. So when you get into these other businesses, it's not to own and operate them immediately. Let me say that clearly. I want you to track me on this if you're listening, right? It's to refer the business, get the deal done, and make some money doing it, right? So if our lender's Bold Mortgage, that's who I work with, that's what we do. And so I help real estate agents become employees of Bold Mortgage. They become business development specialists, and any business that they refer, whether it's from their team, their own, or a friend's or a colleague's, they get paid on that loan. They get paid 75 bips, 3/4 of a point, right? And so, and this is all legal, above board, RESPA compliant, the whole nine, right? And so if I'm able to do that for somebody, they can start there and they can end there, or they can go, you know what, Dave, listen, I'm doing 3-4 loans a month now, 5 loans a month now. I'd like to potentially have my own branch. And when they start, they have no dealing with operation. It's exactly what they're doing right now. Exactly, but they can get paid on it. And so now they're doing, let's say, 5 buyers a month. 5 buyers a month, that's what, 60 deals a year, right? They go,
Yep.
Listen, I can have my own branch at that rate. And then we're going to say, you know what, you're right. And now instead of getting paid 75 bips, you get paid on P&L. And now you could grow this thing as big as you want while never letting go of your real estate business. That's the cool part of this. I'm not asking anybody to switch industries. I'm asking you to do what you do best, sell real estate, but own parts of what you refer business to, because this real estate thing, with the battle of the commission and the slow market, and some people paying 2%, some people paying 1%. I've heard some horror stories out there, right?
Yeah, I have too.
Yeah. So why not? Let's say you got a deal and you make 2%, but you referred the loan. So now you're making 3/4 of a point on the loan value. Let's say it's VA, so it's 100% financing. So it's the full sale price, right? So now you're at 2 3/4. And let's say you own a piece of or maybe you got your insurance license and you're in the insurance company too. Now you can earn on that. And maybe, you do have a joint venture with a title firm. Now you're earning P&L on that. Like, dude, this is the way it grows, right? So we're doing this with title in New York, New Jersey, Florida, Texas, Pennsylvania, and looking to build out Virginia soon. And we're doing it with New World Title. And New World Title is awesome about being innovative and figuring out ways to help people grow. We got to get out of this mentality. I know a lot of people like to get paid under the table, and a lot of people like to pay under the table. That's the fastest way to lose your license. Why are you that stupid? Why would you be that stupid? You're making all this money and you're willing to risk it for one person that won? No, man, do it legit, do it right. Don't forget, the real estate sales is the center force. It's all about that. All about that, Dave, I love the recruiting side of the business too. And I recruit to LPT, right? And again, if there's no real estate sales, there's nothing to earn from that. So real estate sales still always becomes the center force of everything.
It's a little bit different mindset than we learn as we're getting into it. And then, as you said, over the years, there were these agreements with mortgage companies, and then title companies. It was a little shady, and it got a lot of people got careless, and it was wrong, right? So this is a little bit different. This is done the right way. Okay,
yeah, this is a lot different. This is legal. No one goes to jail. Everybody gets their license, right? Like, this is above board, legal, ready, in your face. Like, yes, we can do this.
So let's get a little bit deeper into real estate, the market, everything else. We talked about just now a way to grow your business in different ways that weren't thought of. That, just to confirm that what we're doing is we're doing the same thing we did before, except we're getting paid for it.
Yeah, nothing changed. You don't have to deal with operations. You don't have to deal with anything else. And going back to the original comment, my transition from you know, I still have my real estate team. I'm looking, and I have the title and mortgage and insurance and everything else. And the transition was not, I'm getting rid of all of this to do something new. The transition was, I'm closing down my coaching company. I'm no longer going to do that. It's too time consuming. And the value doesn't match what I'm trying to create. Right. What am I trying to create? I'm trying
I get that.
Better entrepreneurs, better business people. I'm trying to get real estate agents. We keep telling realtors, think of your business like a business. You run your own business. We don't tell them how, and we don't tell them how much that can expand. And that's my passion right now. And that, and listen, I'm having the best time of my life doing it. It makes me feel good to see somebody level up.
So is it wrong to say that, instead of saying grow your business, it's saying, look, this isn't for everybody. Let's change our business. Let's become more refined. Let's work on our identity to grow ourselves. Is that where the change is?
Yeah, 100%. I love helping people, man. I'm the guy, like, you give me a microphone and I can get on stage and I can speak and I can do all this stuff, right? And then, like, on my way to the stage, somebody grabs me and goes, "You're David Kurz." Yes, I am. "Hey, man, I read your book. I thought it was great." And I get so humbled that I get shy. This is the guy that's about to go on stage and rock it out. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I don't know what to say anymore. And that comes from a place of, oh, wow. Like, when I wrote the book, I hoped that it would help people. And one person told me it helped them. That was good enough, right? Like, wow,
Yeah, and I understand that 100%, because there are people that talk to me every week about how they enjoy this broadcast, and they actually talk to me about the content, what we talked about, how did I know that guy, all this other stuff, or girl, and it's really we all have egos,
Yeah.
And the ego part of it is because we helped somebody, and that's like, yeah, that's what I wanted it to do. Yeah. That's the ego. I'm not saying, yeah, look at me, how great I am. No, I achieved it. I achieved my reason for what I do. I mean, look, the reason I do these broadcasts is because I wanted to get more information out there. I mean, whether it helps my business or not, is not the point. It's just, I saw someone doing these 8.5 years ago that did a really shitty job. And I said, I can do that. I can show up every week. Not a problem. And now it's almost like an addiction. I've got to do it. I, wake up on Fridays. I've got my set, how I feel about it. Fridays are now a relaxed day for me because this is all set. I've got great help with a great remote team member and a guy by the name of Nelson. And, so I'm very fortunate. So your transition, your change, your personal change, you went, you use words, identity. You talk about refinement, alignment, grounded, etc. As you went through this, I'm going to call it evolution and not change, because there's too many things. Would that be good?
Yeah,
good word to use.
Growth and evolution,
right? And you started helping people in a different way. Talk to me about that change. Talk to me about the experience that changed how you saw yourself.
So a year ago, or more than a year ago, March of last year, or before that, I made a decision, sat down with my wife, and I said, my mindset is like, and I said, I'm in this place and I'm doing okay. We're doing fine, but I know there's more to it. And I can't crack the code. I can't open my mind up to it. And so there's got to be more to life than this, And so I made a decision and I flew into Costa Rica and I went to a ayahuasca resort called Rhythmia. And Rhythmia has a 7-day program where you do 4 days of ayahuasca. And I am a control freak. I need to be in charge. And the first thing they tell you is, I went to this place with a super open mind. I was going to do everything, the yoga, the breath work, the meditation, the ayahuasca, all of it. I was going to do it all. And I went with an open mind. However, when I took the ayahuasca for the first couple of days, I was trying to control the outcome. I wanted to know what I wanted to know, right? Like, where am I going to take my business? You know, things like that. And day 3 happens. I'm not having the best experience. Like, I'm not getting what I want. And that's what I mean by not having the best experience, because I'm expecting to get what I'm asking for. And so I go sit
the
with,
light bulb or the switch to change, to turn the switch, right?
yeah. And so I want answers, right? Like, show me. And I go sit with the shaman and I go, listen, man, this is what's going on. He goes, tell me a little bit about you. What are you trying to achieve? And I talk to him about work. I talk to him about my family. I'm talking to him about, you know, all kinds of stuff. And he looks at me, he goes, Dave, you got a lot of baggage. And you're trying to release this baggage. And I go, yes. And he goes, well, that's very different than what you came here and told me what you wanted in the beginning, you know? And it shifted my mindset. He goes, do you want a private plane? I go, come on, man. Who doesn't want a private plane? Of course I want a private plane. That'd be cool, right? And he goes, well,
Yeah.
he goes, with the amount of baggage you're carrying, you'd never be able to take off. And that just blew my mind, because what he was telling me was I was never going to get to that point because there would be no point in it. Like, what am I going to have, a private jet that's grounded all the time? Right. And so I said, well, what do I do? And he goes, stop trying to control the outcome and just let your mind do what your mind wants to do. And he said, let the medicine work, man. Let the ayahuasca work. I said, cool. Day 3 and 4, I was so humbled with the experience that I had just by finding a way to just let go, like stop thinking about things, just whatever pops in my mind. That's what I thought about. Right. And I left that place humbled. I left that place excited. I left that place a better man. And I left that place with the knowledge that God put me on this earth to impact other people in a positive way. However, the way that I thought I was doing it wasn't sufficient. It wasn't the right way, right? I thought I was impacting people on stages in my books and this and that. It was so much more than that. Directly impacting people, directly helping them grow, directly helping them win, and not by charging them for coaching, right? Just doing it and letting them grow. And then what you find is when things like that happen and God is the center force of all of that, then everything else falls into place. And my life now is better than it's ever been. My relationship with my kids, my wife and I always had a great relationship. It's 100 times better now. My relationship with my work, my relationship with my team, my relationship with real estate and business and money and everything else, all my relationships are in a better state of mind because I took the time to work on me. Something that I always coached people on, by the way. I would always tell people, you come first. Work on you. Go to the gym. Do what you need to do. Pray, meditate, whatever fancies you. But work on you first. I would always ask moms, ladies that are moms, I would say, Mom, what's the number one most important thing in the world to you? My kids. I would say, wrong. It's got to be you. Because if something happens to you, your kids have no one. You screwed them. Right? And I would always tell that to people. And I thought I was taking my advice by trying to take care of myself and eat healthy and go to the gym and blah, blah, blah. But that wasn't it. I had to go deeper. I had to work on my thought process, my mindset, and I had to work on my faith. And when all those things became better and stronger and clearer, the entire world changed for me.
So the version of David Kurz that I see today, I know, I will be honest with you, it's different than the one I saw, episode 63, I said, 9 years ago.
I'd be afraid of that episode.
You know, sometimes I actually watch the old episodes that I did not get a chance to do that this week. But so what part of you died and what part of you was reborn?
Pride.
Or was it just evolution?
No, There was evolution. It's mostly evolution, but I will say pride and ego died. Still have pride and I still have ego, but in a positive fashion. Right? When you help somebody, you help somebody's business, their life, their anything, it's okay to have a little ego and go, ah, I did that. By the grace of God, of course, but I did that. That's okay. It's okay. People are like,
Yeah.
move your ego aside. No, you gotta pat yourself on the back too, you know?
So what belief did you have before the change that you no longer have today?
That I could do it on my own. Right? That
Yeah,
this all this success was all me. That I did this. That no longer exists.
So it's more about helping people help themselves rather than building businesses. Is that correct?
Yeah. And here's the crazy part, Dave. Like I said, if you're doing something like that and God is in the center of it, that's the most important part. And I want to keep repeating that. Everything else falls into place. Therefore, my businesses continue to grow.
Let's talk a little bit more about business. Now, we mentioned, real estate and everything and how to build a business before. And one of the things that that has come into being to a lot of us is that things we have to be in alignment with what we're changing, with what we're doing. And I think one of the things that you've always said was alignment over attachment. Is that correct?
Yes.
Could you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah. I mean, listen, one of the biggest things in the world is to align yourself with the right people and align yourself with the right environment and align yourself with the right position. All of that matters, Look, I have a special friend of mine who I love very much. He's a great guy. He's thinking about big career change. And so we talk about alignment. Does it align with what you're trying to achieve in your life, right? Not attaching to it because it pays better, right? Does that make sense? Because right now he owns his own business and he does fairly well, but he's thinking, man, I want to fly planes. I want to be a pilot. And I'm like, that sounds awesome, and he's like, yeah, but I'm having trouble with the school and I don't know which school to think. I go, hey, listen, it's not supposed to be easy. But if it aligns with your beliefs and it aligns with what you truly want to, why are you doing it? Because if it's because you can make $300,000 a year as a pilot, then that's the wrong alignment. You're attaching yourself to the check. You're attaching yourself to the result. So how do you align yourself with this? And he goes, Dave, I want to make big change to do much better for my family. Now we're talking. I go, okay, you want to do better for your family, but is it becoming a pilot that does that for you? Or is it something else? And now he's in this thought process. I think he would be a fantastic pilot, right? And I would love to one day sit on a plane that he's flying and be like, oh my God, this is happening. You know what I mean? And I just feel like if he could figure out exactly where he's aligned, then everything falls into place. That's the most important piece. You start attaching yourself to results. You start attaching yourself to paychecks. You start attaching yourself to numbers and the wrong people. You're just going to be in a shitstorm for all your eternity. You have to, man, Dave, we both know you got to be around the right people all the time, right? Right. Michael Valdez, Michael Valdez, right? Michael Valdez, he just wrote a book called Fire Your Friends. Right? Great book, by the way, and it just talks about the different levels as you grow, how sometimes you just got to fire the people around you. Again, it's alignment. Who are you aligned with? What are you aligned with? Why are you aligned with that? That's things people need to really sit down and think about. And sometimes it hits you when you're 22 and you're committed. And sometimes it hits you when you're 50, and sometimes it hits you when you're 66,
Yeah, I do know that.
Yeah. When I was 22, I was in the Marine Corps. When I was 32, I was out here trying to be a badass realtor. Now I'm 50 and I'm in alignment finally.
So you talk a lot about attachment. I want to get down to something in our business that we always hear. And I read a comment by Bob Berg, the author of the Go Giver series. And the question is, well, you know what? I need to do this business. I need to be a real estate agent because I need to make money. So when I go into a listing appointment or I'm going to get papers signed, I'm thinking about the money I'm going to make.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? And how do I change that if we're not supposed to be attached to the outcome?
The outcome is the result. The result is the consequence. People always give the word consequence a negative connotation. It's not negative. Yes. Consequence is just the result of your action, right? So if I go into a listing appointment and while I'm there, I'm thinking only about the consequence, I can't get the action right. Action comes first, then consequence, right? And so if I walk in there and I think about the action, what's the action? I need to help this family sell this house because XYZ, whatever they tell you of reasoning of why they're selling their home. And that is my only mission right now. That is my only mission. I need to sell this house because Jack and Jane need to move to Orlando to be closer to their grandkids. And that's really important to them. And that needs to happen. I have a seller right now that needs to sell because she needs a major surgery and she needs to buy something much smaller and use some of the profit for her surgery. So when we're going into this listing appointment, we hear that, that's all we're thinking about. We need to sell this user so that she can have her surgery and be healthy and be okay. And if I do a bad job of that, the consequence is my listing expires and I don't get paid. If I do a great job of helping this person and her family, the consequence is that I get paid.
So are we talking about action versus consequence or action to consequence?
Action to consequence. Your action determines the consequence. Just like your lack of action also determines the consequence.
So in other words, what we're saying is the way we take the action, the reason we're taking the action, the mindset behind the action is going to distribute. Say again?
It's more important than any consequence, right? So the way
it's better. So just in here. Hold on. I have a little technical difficulty here. I don't know if anybody else did. So say that again. So it's action to consequence. And you said something was more. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, action to consequence, right? And how you take action determines the consequence you receive. And lack of action also creates a consequence, but you can't focus on what the consequences would be. You need to focus on the action itself.
So your action is helping the person get to their next place, whatever that may be.
Whatever
the consequence is,
you make some money.
Consequences finishing the deal or getting paid.
Yeah, when this job becomes about the people, your success rate goes up 1,000%. When this job is only about the money, you'll never hit the success rate you're looking for.
Okay. So I've had this conversation many, many times with a lot of different people. And it's like the way I started the question was people say, well, I'm doing it because I got to get paid. How do I take that out of the equation? How do I say, well, if you're thinking about getting paid, you're not going to get the business. Take that out of the equation. Well, why the fuck am I doing it if I'm not going to get paid?
Why do you need to get paid? That's the question. Why do you need to get paid? Why I got bills to pay, but why?
There you go.
Well, because it's important to take care of my family. Okay, now we're tapping into something. Why is it important to take care of your family? Well, that's sort of my job. Like I need to take care. This is my job in my home to take care of my family. Therefore, I need to get paid. No. What is your job? To take care of my family. Okay, how are you going to do that? I'm going to sell real estate. Why real estate? Because you can work at Walmart and still take care of your family. Why real estate? Well, because it's a bigger check. Wrong answer. Why real estate? Go deeper. Why'd you choose this career? Well, I don't know. I want to help people sell their homes. Cool. Why? Well, because people need to sell them. Why do they need to sell them? Million different reasons: divorce, marriage, baby, uh, you name it, empty nesting, like whatever it is. Cool. Why is that important? Without you, do you think they could achieve what they're attempting to achieve? Maybe, sometimes, most of the time, no, they won't get all the money they're supposed to get. Work with me, they get more money. Also, now it's for them. Now we completely walked away from I need to get paid. Now all of a sudden it's about them. You made it about them because your focus is to take care of your family. So you made it about them and their families. Now just focus on that. The check is going to come.
Absolutely. And everybody, what David just did very well was he went through the what I like to call the 7 whys, right? It's really important. It helps you go deep into what you're doing and why you're doing it. I mean, it really is kind of interesting, and it shows alignment over attachment as we started this here. Is there anything else that we're missing about the way and the spirit and the mindset of the entrepreneur today in real estate, especially? Is there something that's changed? Is there something that needs to be addressed better?
I think that real estate agents today have so many more opportunities than they ever had to grow their business wildly beyond their dreams. I'm seeing teams out there rocking and rolling with 350 team members spread out across multiple states and cities, and they're killing it. And they're doing amazing, and they're changing the lives of 350 team members, right? And you're seeing brokerages, and you're seeing growth, and you're seeing companies going public, and you're seeing, you're just, the opportunity that real estate agents have today is so much more than it's ever been. Even just the simple talk that I tell, I'm helping people align themselves with the mortgage. I'm helping people align themselves with title. I'm helping people get an average of a 30 to 40% raise on every deal they do. But more than that, maybe they want to open an actual mortgage office. Maybe it just goes and goes. Maybe they want to open 10 offices in 10 different cities. Maybe, like, the opportunity starting in real estate and selling homes, it doesn't end there. And you just need to open your mind to becoming a true entrepreneur, a true CEO of your business, and start thinking, every time I do a deal, how do I grow this business through that deal? And start thinking about how you can expand. At no other time in real estate has this opportunity been awake and alive as it is today.
So let me ask you another question about life and David Kurz. What would you be like today if you didn't experience what you did a year and a half ago? What would you be like? Would you still be building a coaching company? Would you still be working 20 hours a day? Tell me more about that.
I'll be working 26 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's
takes, man. I've been there.
Days used to merge together. Family time, I tried my best. I was very focused on the business and growth, and also the negative things in my life were overpowering.
Yeah.
Now the negative things in my life have no control, right? So if I didn't have that experience and I didn't focus on developing myself and my mind and growing who I deserve to be and who God put me on this planet to be, I'd be still crashing into the same brick walls and still have the same income, same growth, the same everything. Nothing new would have happened. And we'd just be sitting here having the same conversation we had 7 years ago.
Okay. So there's a lot of people out there that are not going to Costa Rica for ayahuasca.
That's okay.
Right? They're not. What would you say to the people that Okay, so I'm not going to say you needed the change, but the change is what, like, the experience made you more of who David Adam Kurz is and always wanted to be. Sound good? Sound right? Right?
Yep.
Good assumption.
Yep.
How, without that, is there a key that you think of, or something that you see, or something that you could tell someone, hey, dude, this is the difference.
Okay, cool.
This isn't the switch. This isn't the magic pill, but buddy, smack him in the head, and this is it. Go ahead, hit me.
There's no magic pill. Look, more than ayahuasca, what I did is put myself in a new environment that was uncomfortable for me. I don't do yoga. I was doing yoga. I didn't know what breath work was. I was doing breath work. I never ever in my life could meditate because all I could do was think about the next things I had to do. And what the hell was I doing sitting here quiet? Like, so, but I was meditating, right? I don't do drugs at all, but then there was ayahuasca, right? Like, and although they say it's not a drug and it's just a plant with healing properties, dude, it's a drug. Okay. So don't give me that shit. So here I am in the most uncomfortable position that I could ever put myself in. So more than ayahuasca, it was the fact that I put myself in a new environment to test out that environment. It could have gone a different direction. I could have been there the 7 days and been like, it's not for me. Like, what the hell am I doing here? But it worked. So what I would tell people is looking at the environments that you want to be in and go put yourself in those environments. Start looking at the rooms that you would love to be in where everybody surpasses you in every way and go get uncomfortable. Yes, you're going to get in the middle of a conversation and everyone's going to be talking about some things you have no idea about. Just listen. Don't try to pretend. Don't fake it till you make it. Just listen. And when somebody looks and you go, what do you think? You go, honestly, I don't know too much about the topic. I'm really enjoying listening to you guys talk about it.
So I want to hit you up.
You know what happens if you say something like that? Somebody in that circle goes, dude, let me teach you. Come sit down.
All right.
Go get uncomfortable.
So let me hit you up with a situation you know of, but you've probably never been asked this question before. So as one gets into this business and builds their business and grows their business to different things, they go from this to the next, to the agent, to the solopreneur, to the team leader, to say, screw this, I'm just going to be an agent. And they say, well, this isn't fulfilling anymore. And they want to make other changes, but they feel as we get older. So I'm talking about people my age that what they love to do, it's a little bit more difficult for them to do it because of, not because they're not capable, not because they're not physically capable or mentally capable. It's because of the opinion of the younger people, and they want to make a change, right? I've seen this so many times. Because as I get older, I assimilate more with it, and I always wondered why, people from 60 to 70 and 70 to 80 attitudes were different, right? And I always said, you know what? I understand it. Like 20 years ago, I said, I understand it now because they've been saying the same thing over and over and nobody's listening. And now they just said, screw it. I'm going to say whatever I want. And people say, well, we don't have filters. I've always been blunt. I've always been sometimes obnoxious, sometimes arrogant, but because I just don't want to deal with the bullshit. But now we get to a point where, people getting on in age really want to do shit. But then it's like, oh man, look at all that work. How do you turn? You used to work 20 hours a day. And now you go sit there and say, shit, I'm getting distracted here. I'm getting distracted there. I want to build a business again. I want to be excited about what I'm doing. Do I got to do it on my own? Do you know of the key? I know you're not in my age group yet, but I want to get your opinion on this.
I have a huge opinion. First of all, the reason that they stopped giving a shit is because they stopped caring about what other people think. That's number one. And I think if we could learn that much earlier on, our lives would be significantly better. We're too worried, especially now with social media and how many likes we get and who has an opinion of us. That needs to end. So if you care about what other people think, stop and just be the authentic version of yourself. Now we go back to the business. I want to get into this business. Do I have to do it? But I want to do it. You have the energy, you have the know-how, and because you have the experience, you'll do it 10 times faster than you've ever done it before. That's number one. But begin it with the thought process of building a business built on leverage. So you don't have to do it all on your own. Leverage people, leverage tools, right? When you leverage people, they make money too. When you leverage tools, you help those people double down on how much they could earn. And then it requires a lot less of you over time. And of course, that always depends on the business type of business you're in, right? Like, you know, if you're trying to build a local business right around you, then you could do that and still have significant time. But if you're telling me, hey, Dave, I'm 65 and I want to build a worldwide brokerage, then that's going to require a lot of time and energy, and you just have to deal with it. It is what it is. But what you put in is what you're going to get back. But when you trust more people to do the job and you can build a life of leverage, it's a game changer.
Great point. Thank you for that answer. Hey, man, it's been a great 50 minutes or so, and I want to thank you so much for joining the broadcast today.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed it, learned a lot, and I have just two more things for you. Well, first of all, before we get any further, next week we have another great guest. We have James Dwiggins, who's the president of Next Home. We're going to talk about his attitude in life and how the merger with EXP has helped and everything else. We're going to talk a lot about that next Friday with James Dwiggins. I'm excited to have him on. And as we move forward, Dave, I got two things. First one is a question. How do I help you grow your business?
Brother, you just did it. Thank you so much for having me on the show. You just did it.
That's very nice of you. Thank you so much. And last but not least, man, you said you didn't get one, but I really do think you did, but that's okay.
You know how I know I didn't get one? Because I would still have it because I love hats. I have so many hats. So if I still had it, if I ever got one, it would still be on my hat setup.
Awesome, man. So this one's coming out to you this week. It's got the 8 logo on the side for our 8 years of doing this. I'm so excited.
Congratulations.
Every Friday,
huge accomplishment. And so you should definitely take note of that and celebrate that because that's huge.
Thank you so much. David, thanks a lot. So stay on as we go out. As I said, next week we got James Dwiggins. Let's hit it. Everybody have a great week. August starts tomorrow, the best month of the year. Anybody know why? DM me and I'll confirm it. Happy birthday to me for next week.
Happy birthday, Dave.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week.
See you later.